Hello and welcome to all our viewers and a special shout out to our wonderful telecom community. I'm Rafi and today we are diving deep into OSP cabling or outside plant cabling. OSP or outside plant cabling is a term that encompasses the entirety of the physical cabling and its associated infrastructure located outside the protective walls of building. OSP cabling includes the vast network of cables laid beneath our streets in underground conduit, strung high above on utility poles, or even submerged underwater to connect islands and cross rivers. It's a complex web that connects cities and countries, forming the backbone of our global communications. But OSP is more than just cables. It encompasses a range of components such as manholes, handholds, cabinets, and pedestals, all serving pivotal roles in the accessibility of protection of these crucial lines. And it's not just about installation. OSP cabling systems are engineered to withstand the onslaught of nature's elements. They are built to be resilient against extreme weather conditions, from scorching heat waves that can expand and contract the cables to freezing temperatures that can make them brittle. The cables themselves are marvels of engineering, often encased in thick protective shading and infused with waterproof material. This not only guards against moisture and physical damage, but also ensures the longevity and reliability of the communication services they provide. This vast network that stretches over mountains and under oceans is what OSP cabling is all about. It's an unseen yet critical infrastructure that keeps us all connected, underpinning the very fabric of our digital society. Imagine OSP cabling as a giant sprawling network, much like the roads and highways that connect our cities. Let's break down the key parts that make up this network. First up, we have underground cables. Think of these as tunnels beneath our cities, carrying the data like trains. They are buried deep to protect them from cars, trucks, and the hustle and bustle above. Then there are the poles you see by the roadside. These are like signposts that carry cables high up in the air, keeping them away from harm on the ground. Aerial cables are the ones that hung from these poles. They are like tightrope for data, stretching across the sky from one pole to another. Manholes are like secret trapdoors on the street. Technicians can climb down into them to reach the cables when they need fixing or upgrading. Handholds are smaller cousins of manholes. They are not big enough to climb into, but they provide quick access to the cables for maintenance. And conduits are like protective pipe that cables run through. They can be underground or above, are designed to keep the cable safe and organized. So there we have it. The underground cables as tunnels, poles as signposts, aerial cables as tightrope, manholes as trapdoors, handholds for quick access, and conduits as protective pipe. Each play a vital role in keeping our data flowing smoothly in the great outdoors. Now, let's talk about what these OSP cables are made of. It's important because the right materials mean your calls and internet don't drop out every time it rains or gets too hot. So, what are these superhero materials that keep our connections alive? Most OSP cables have a strong, watertight outer layer. This is like a raincoat that keeps out moisture because just like you don't like getting wet, neither do cables. Then we have materials that can handle the temperature down. They can stretch a little when it's hot and shrink when it's cold without breaking. This makes sure that whether it's a hot summer day or a freezing winter night, the cables stay intact. The sun's rays can be harsh, so OSP cables often come with a UV-resistant jacket. It's like a sunscreen for cables, protecting them from sunburn of UV exposure. Some cables need extra protection like armor. They have metal or hard plastic around them guarding against digging and animals who might think they have found a new chew toy. We also see cables filled with a special gel that blocks water, and some are wrapped in materials that repel critters. There are even cables that can detect when they are being tampered with, sending an alert before any serious harm is done. These materials, the watertight layers, temperature-resistant compositions, UV shields, and tough armoring are what make OSP cables resilient and reliable. It's thanks to these innovations that our digital world keeps spinning, come rain, shine, or anything else nature throws our way. Let's talk about the tough stuff our outdoor cables face. Just like a superhero in a comic book, OSP cables have to deal with a bunch of challenges. Imagine you are gardening and you accidentally snip a flower stem. That's kind of what happens when construction sites get busy. Big machines digging the building can sometimes cut our underground cables and zap, there goes the internet. Then there are the critters. Yes, our furry and feathery friends don't know these cables are important. Squirrels, birds, and even mice might think these cables are tasty treats or fun toys. Weather is another biggie. Storms roll in with wind and lightning, and just like a tree can fall over in a bad storm, so can the poles holding up our cables, or the cables can break. Even the sun has a role to play. On hot days, it can beat down on the cables. They don't get a sunburn, but they can get worn out after too many sunny days. So, construction, wildlife, and weather, they all make it a bit of an adventure for OSP cables. But don't worry, the people who put these cables in are always thinking up new ways to protect them so that our calls and videos can keep flowing smoothly. Since our OSP cables have to go through a lot, they are designed like superheroes gear, tough on the outside to handle any trouble. Let's see how these cables are geared up for the challenge. For starters, they have got what we call protective sheath, which are like super strong jackets. These jackets are thick and tough. If there are any accidental digging or nibbling by animals, the cables have a good chance of staying safe. Then there's waterproofing. It's like a raincoat for cables. Water's sneaky. It can get just about anywhere. But with waterproof layers, these cables can stay dry even when it's wet and wild out there. Some cables even wear armor, not shiny metal, but strong materials that can take a hit and protect the delicate fibers inside. This armor can handle a lot, from heavy construction equipment to those critters we talked about. And let's not forget about the surges that come from lightning or power spikes. Surge protectors can be added like shields, guarding the cables from these sudden jolts of electricity. So, the thick jackets, waterproofing, armor, and surge protectors, OSP cables are knitted out to face almost anything. This smart design and careful installation help make sure that our internet and phone lines keep working smoothly no matter what's happening outside. Alright, so we have got these superhero cables all suited up, but who decides what kind of gear they need? Just like there are rules for driving on roads, there are rules for OSP cabling too. One of the big rule books is called the National Electrical Code, or NEC for short. It's like a guide to make sure everything electrical is both safe and sound. The NEC talks about how to properly install cables to keep them and us protected from electrical issues. Then there's the Telecommunications Industry Association, known as TIA. They have their own set of rules that focus on telecommunications, basically making sure our data travels fast and without any hiccup. They look at everything from how thick the cable's jacket should be to how to test if the cable is up to snuff. These rules and standards from the NEC and TIA make sure that everyone who makes and installs OSP cable is on the same page. It's their job to keep our cables safe from those challenges we talked about, like weather, animals, and accidents. So when cables are being put in, the people in charge check their rule books to make sure they are doing it right. It's all about keeping the connections between us strong, reliable, and ready for the future. Quick question. Name few more international governing bodies who set the standards for cable installations. Please feel free to answer in the comment section. If you enjoyed our adventure and want to keep up with all the tech talk, go ahead and hit that subscribe button or give us a follow. It's the best way to stay connected to our content and join our growing community. And don't forget, your thoughts and questions make this all even more exciting. Drop us a comment below. We would love to hear what you think or what you are curious about. Your feedback is the spark that keeps our ideas flowing. Feeling the love? Hit the like button, share the video with your friend, and let's spread the knowledge. Every click helps us bring you more of the content you want to see. Thanks again for watching. We can't wait to dive into more topics with you. So stay tuned, stay connected, and let's shape the future of tech together.